some years ago, less than 10 years ago, they came together to merge together to bring people into Canada. What it means is that if you study in any of these 4 provinces, you can decide to say, you know what, I want to move to another Atlantic province. I study in Newfoundland, it's too rural here. I want to go to Nova Scotia. Oh, I study in New Brunswick, it's too quiet here. I want to go to Newfoundland. You can decide to, and you can still get your permanent residence as if you are living in where you study. That is what is called Atlantic Immigration Program. So we're going to Ontario now. Ontario, the link is there. Ontario is not very open to provincial nominee, because Ontario itself is looking for how people will move out of Ontario to go to other provinces. In fact, the government of Canada is advising that people should please move out to other provinces now. Ontario is too full. So that is why their provincial nominee program is not that robust. They are trying to, play it cool. So we are talking about the employer portal here. Foreign worker, international students, and others with the right skills, experience, and education apply through the portal. The portal recognizes and nominates people for permanent residence. I bet you, I'm telling you the truth, Ontario does not do it often like every other provinces, because if 100 people arrive in Canada today, about 30 of them, they want to stay back in Ontario, while the remaining 70, with 2 to Canada, 2 to Manitoba, 3 to Ontario, majority still want to stay in Ontario, and that is why the provincial nominee program is so low, it's so quiet. They don't actually advertise it or encourage it. So we are talking about 9 streams in Ontario. We have the human capital priority stream for candidates in the Federal Express pool with strong human capital attributes like education, work experience, and language skills. So the human capital priority stream is like their provincial nominee, but it's saying for strong human capital education. If Manitoba is considering first degree, that means Ontario is considering for the same job is considering master's. That means Ontario is considering PhD for the same job that Manitoba may need a first degree for. Why? Just to make sure that they streamline it. The number of people that are qualified are reduced. Work experience and language skills. They have the French-speaking skilled worker stream. That's quite straightforward. And they have the skilled trade stream for people with handiwork and all that. So they have other one that's a foreign worker stream. And this is for executives, for managers, for supervisors. You are not in any of these tier, you are not qualified. Ontario will not pick you at all. And they have the international student stream. But then know that Ontario does not give priority to people that have just come to study for 1 year. It's better you don't just apply for postgraduate work permit. Just look for money to do another 1 year, so that it will show that you have studied for 2 years in Ontario. Just 1 year certificate course here and there will not get you anywhere in Ontario. And we have the in-demand skill stream in Ontario for skilled worker with job offers. Sometimes people, I know somebody in my church that friend of ours got a job in Ontario from Nigeria. It happens. Some people are lucky, but they said the industry may be for agriculture, construction, and trucking. Sometimes they even go to Europe to go and employ drivers to come into Canada. I know my Manitoba does it too from time to time, but they won't go to Africa to go and employ drivers because they know that there's no training. People just jump on trailers to start driving, but they will go to, like Europe and all that to go and employ. So it happens, but it may be 1 in 100 jobs. We have the master's graduate stream for international students of master's program from Ontario University. If you study in Ontario, you did your master's, your PhD, you can see PhD too there. Yeah, there are jobs waiting for you. There are opportunities waiting for you. And that is where Canada is going now. You saw them emphasizing last year when all this stress started, the priority will only be given to master's students. Priority will only be given to students that did a PhD in Canada. So I think that is where they are going very, very soon. You understand? And just like what is happening in the States too now, that they have the entrepreneur stream. And take note that for Ontario, what you need to, what your asset should worth is close to 800,000, if not I think British Columbia is about 1 million. Ontario is about 800,000. That must be your assets. And what they expect you to invest in the economy is close to about 500,000. So then they have the express entry aspect of the opportunity too. So let's move forward. So we are in Prince Edward Island now. Then that's the link. The major one they have there is the critical workers. So you can apply for a nomination for permanent resident through the critical worker stream in Prince Edward Island if you are currently working full-time. So these are people that maybe you study there. Outsiders too can apply for this, but they give priority to people that came into to study in Prince Edward Island. Why they are doing it is that they are trying to promote all the schools, all the colleges in all these places. And it's cheaper. The only thing that I don't normally recommend students, I don't really normally get admission for students in all these places because it's too quiet for people. Some people, they want where there's a lot of level of life and all that. But if you see a master's student, PhD student that's already matured, that you know what, their own is just to study, go to church, go to anything, they are okay. But for our younger ones, I don't really encourage it. But if you see people that say, I don't mind, it's cheaper for my parents, yeah, sometimes we look for school for them there. So what the provinces do is that they want to retain them in there. So they open up a lot of programs that will make the student to become permanent resident. And they say that before you know it, if they stay, they finish school, they get their permanent resident, but sometimes they don't even want to leave. They say, you know what, I'm okay here. This is Canada too. So Prince Edward Island too has a program like that. So they have for international student stream. They have for international experience stream for people that are from outside of Canada, but you are going to come in as a work permit. Most of their program will bring you in as work permits. They have occupation in demand too. You know, if you go through the link that I sent there, you will see the list of occupation that they are looking for. It's not everybody. In fact, it will surprise you to know that most of these provinces are even looking for chef, cook. You are an accountant. They say for now we don't need accountant. We need the hairdressers. We need cook. We need it's whatever is your interest, just go for it. Whatever is the interest of your brothers and sisters all over the world that are eyeing Canada one time or the other, tell them just go for it. One day opportunity may open up for them. The express entry, the government pathway are different upon federal immigration allocation. For this particular province, it is the government that will give them allocation up to now. This is the number of people that you must bring in. This is the number of people, because they want to make sure that are not staffed of resources. For example, housing. They don't want people. You remember what people did in Manitoba recently? Not even in Manitoba, across Canada, where they started carrying placard. Oh, you brought us here. Now, no accommodation, no this, no that. And that is what the government is standing on now to say that is why they are doing all this in immigration, that we don't want to bring people in and there's no accommodation. And immediately after that, you see Manitoba started building homes, started building apartments everywhere. And those apartments are lying there. Nobody is occupying them because government is not bringing anybody in. So that is why government is still the one dictating to Prince Edward Island and the territory, Yukon. And Yukon will get there. They are still the one telling them this is the number of people you can bring in at a time. They have the skilled worker outside of Canada too. Then we go to Saskatoon. Saskatoon is the next door neighbor to Manitoba. So they know the same thing in common. And I want to say something about every one of them. Each and every one of them, they still have rural pathway. For example, you apply to a Provincial Nominee Program in Manitoba, and you tell them that you want to live in Brandon. That is rural pathway. You have extra 50 marks, which can go a long way for you. But most of the time, they want you to have adaptability in those places. Adaptability there means you have somebody there, like a brother, like a sister, like a friend, that will make you to want to stay. Because if you don't have adaptability, somebody like that, you may get there and say, oh my God, it's too boring here. I want to go back home. They don't want that to happen. So rural immigration is you want to live outside of the city, And you have people there, people that know you, that you can relate with easily, that will make life there easy for you to stay. They will give you extra 50 points for each and every one of the provinces, including Ontario. The Saskatoon experience is for foreign nationals who are currently working and living in Saskatoon on a valid work permit. So this is of assuming people came into Saskatoon with work permit, or people gave up to be a refugee claimant or conventional refugee in Saskatoon, and you are a professional. You can apply for this program after a while to become permanent resident. That is one program that is not in all, some other places. Saskatoon has it. And there are 5 subcategories. These are the 5 subcategories in Saskatoon. It's a skilled worker with existing work permit, student, agriculture. Saskatoon does a lot of agriculture more than Manitoba. Health talent and tech talent is for the people in IT. And the entrepreneur, Saskatoon. Then they have the farmer operator stream in Saskatoon. So this category is for those who want to move to Saskatoon. They have their experience in farming. They have money to start their farming. They plan to buy and run a farm in Saskatoon. If you want to, maybe somebody is getting old and say, you know what, I want to retire, I want to sell my farm, and you are interested in buying it and continue with their farming, this is a program for them. This is Yukon. It's not a province, it's a territory. Everything about them is being guided and directed by the federal government. There are 2 of them like that. So that's why they will tell you that we have 10 provinces and 2 territories. So Yukon Nominee Program accepts application for nominee candidates both inside and outside of Canada to qualify for the Yukon Nominee Program. You must have a full-time and a year-round job from an eligible employer, and you must meet the criteria. They have the business nominee program, they have the refugee claimants, and okay, for you to be a business person, to go into business, you must not be a refugee claimant and you must not be inadmissible to Canada. That is general for everybody. If you are a refugee claimant, you can't buy a business, you can't come and start a business. And if you are inadmissible, you know what? You are not supposed to be living in this land. You have committed a crime. Your name is in our bad book. We read about you that you belong to Boko Haram, or somebody's name has shown up as a defraud a bank, defraud a company, and they do criminal record check, and so no, that is part of what they call inadmissible into Canada. This is still about Yukon, telling us about all the tiers of people, or category of occupation that they need here and there. We're talking about 1, 2, 3. These are people in senior position. 4 and 5 is talking about critical impact worker stream, like support worker and all that. But when you talk about 0, 1, 2, they are talking about executive, manager, supervisor, and all that. And they're still talking about their need. The critical one is about 4 and 5. That is people in low stream. And the skilled worker is people in tier 2 and 3. And the senior worker, the people in 0 and 1. 0 is executive, 1 are managers. And we are talking about their requirements. These are things that they should have. Become business nominee, they have a nomination for business, and it's saying that they must worth 500,000 and be ready to invest 300,000 into the economy in Yukon. And it's saying that they must have the position within the business, and just like every other province. But then it's still saying that they must invest 300,000. To me, it's a lot. 300,000 to invest in Yukon, I think I would rather invest about 200,000 in Manitoba, Brandon, Selkirk, or any other place. But depends on anybody's interest. And this is their business eligibility. These are belong to any of the. They do not want people in this industry. If you want to go into business, these are not the industry they want. So they stated it there that if you want to buy business and it's any of this, Yukon is not where you should come into. And gas, people, the proposed bill must not belong. It must not belong to all this. That means their citizens are already in all this. The citizens, indigenous of Yukon, they are already doing all this business. They don't want outsiders to come into it. And this is where I bring the presentation to an end. I will appreciate if there's any question. And Daddy mentioned again that we should talk about renewal of visas and all that. with the changes that we have in the immigration industry in the last 1.5 years, if there is anybody that want to talk about their refusal, I can answer them, I can talk to them. You can call me after now, because now refusal entails that we request for why visa was rejected in the first place. And it's peculiar to an individual person. Why my own visa was rejected will not be the same reason why yours was rejected. You understand? So it is important to know, oh, what did I not do right? What did the officer saw? What was, because there is a file you can request for. I'm sure everybody knows about it. You can, after your application has been dealt with and you are not happy with the result, you can request for ATIP. In the industry, we call it ATIP, access to information. You can request for it. They will ask you, do you want us to send you the file of all the documents submitted? For example, maybe you are not the one that did it by yourself. An immigration consultant did it, not those agents everywhere in the world, and you want to know what they submitted on your behalf, you can request for it. The second thing you can request for is reason for refusal. When you request for, oh, I want to know the decision, what that officer saw that made them to reject my application. So when you now request for that, it will cost you about $5 or thereabout if you do it by yourself. If you give it to a lawyer, it's about $200. If you give it to an immigration consultant, it's about $100. Because what we will do is that we will interpret it for you. Sometimes when it comes in volume, it comes in about 60 pages, and it's a lot of it. They will just, but where the information you are looking for is you just be somewhere, hiding somewhere there. So we want to tell you, the officer will now state all the reasons what he saw, why he rejected that application. So for any refusal, before it can be reapplied to, you want to request for that so that you won't make the same mistake. And as I said, refusal is per individual. It may be that I didn't cross a T, I didn't dot the I in my own application. It may be that I said that I work in DHL and I did not provide proofs, letter of employment, all those things, letter from my HR to show that this person actually worked DHL. You can't just tell me you work somewhere, there are no proof to it. As I'm talking now, I left DHL about 15 years ago. I still have things inside that can show you that I work there. As you know, so if anybody cannot provide that, it may be the bank statement, it may be the pay slips, it may be your credentials. So before you now reapply, because that is part of what that is I should talk about, before you reapply, you want to put all those things in order before you reapply so as to satisfy the officer. That is just what I want to say about the visa renewal and things like that. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak this afternoon. If there's any question, I will welcome them. If there's anybody that still want to talk to me today or after today in the future, my phone number is with Daddy. It's not going to, I don't get paid for that at all. I will just talk to you. But if I cannot talk to you when you are calling me now, I will call you back or call me back so time. Please, let's respect that. It's just that I have some other thing that I'm doing. And I promise you, whatever time I give you that I will get back to you or that you should call me back, I promise to give you the time to talk with you then. Thank you so much. Daddy, thank you so much for the opportunity, sir.
We really appreciate our resource person this afternoon. You have done a very good job in trashing out gray areas concerning immigration and immigration processes. So if you are there, you have questions from what we have listened to this afternoon, kindly send it to the chat box. I can see some questions already. Someone just asked this question that, please, can I renew my children's Nigerian passport, how can I renew my children's Nigerian passport, which is expiring soon? Thanks.
That is quite straightforward. I know that a Nigeria Association, they normally bring Nigeria High Commission from Ottawa to Manitoba occasionally. But in the last 1 year, I've not heard about that. Or maybe it happened, I didn't know, since I didn't have to renew my passport. So is either you go to Ottawa, the Nigeria High Commission in Ottawa to do that. You first of all have to do that online, register online, make payments online, and then they will give you a date to come in. It's better now. It is far better now. If you go, you will get captured the same day. They may end up sending your passport to you, but it is possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Then another person is asking, what can I do if I am out of status in Canada after my postgraduate permit has expired?
As I'm answering this question, I'm remembering so many people in my hand, in the church, and the community that are in this situation, because the situation is peculiar to individual. First, we want to know why your postgraduate work permit expired and you did not do anything before it expired. And I know some people got caught in it. Is it that they didn't get an employer to give them this and that and now that, a lot of things. I think one thing they should do, I know it's expensive, is if you can go back to school. But the thing is that they don't give postgraduate work permit twice. It's only one time. I have a twin at hand now, twin. They came into MITT. As at the time they were coming in, their course, their profession is in demand in Manitoba. Unfortunately, as at the time they are finishing, all the crisis called them, their career, pharmacy, or what is that thing? When you go to clinic, the people that normally attend to us, that want to, what is your name? I don't know what they call them again. That's what they do. And medical officers, thank you, sir. And they did well. But now their course is taking off. Now their parents they are now taking them back to University of Manitoba, twins. And one cannot stay for that. And that is about 46,000 per annum for school fees, because from 18,000, University of Manitoba has jacked up to 23,000. We are still on it now. So if a father is worried that now I've read it that they don't give postgraduate work permit the second time. When this finish, if I struggle sell anything that I have to sell and these children finish in the next 4 years, what will happen? How will they? So we don't know what will happen yet. So for the person that the postgraduate work permit is expired, I think I know you don't, if you don't want to talk, it's okay. If you can call me maybe on Tuesday work for me, Monday doesn't work at all. Tuesday is better. Call me around 2 p.m. We can discuss if you think you want to talk to me, because I may want to ask some personal questions.
Thank you so much, Ma. I've been trying to unmute myself. I think the host has just successfully unmuted me. Thank you. Thank you for sharing so much invaluable information across various immigration process in Canada. I have 6 questions for you. Okay. So which is what I've been trying to tell them to unmute me. The first one is, what does strategic recruitment draw means in Manitoba PNP program? You mentioned strategic recruitment draw. So what does it mean in Manitoba PNP?
Strategic recruitment means Manitoba, these are the people that we want at this point in time. And those are the people they will go for. So they will now go into express entry. Oh, we need employers will tell them, oh, we need accountant. We'll now go into express entry and go and pick accountants that have indicated they want to live in Manitoba. Strategy, there's a profession they are going for at every point in time.
Okay. And second one, what options are available for people who are skilled, but they don't have a good job, either in Africa, their home country, or in Canada? So are there any options available for them, but they are skilled?
They are skilled. Let's talk about people that are in Canada already. Are they in Canada as permanent residents?
No, they are trying to, if I got the question right, I think they are trying to come to Canada. They are skilled. Are there any program available for people in such categories?
Now, there are so many programs available, but you must consider age at the same time. Most of the time, I have them in my family, you have them. Everybody wants to come, but are they qualified? The moment the age drops them, you understand? As I mentioned in express entry, that is federal, they are looking at age 35 and below, 38 and below. After 38, age is, I think, 0 or thereabouts. For you to meet up, you must get a job offer from somebody. Job offer we saw in Nova Scotia there, and Nova Scotia said, they are going to give you points, employer points. You understand? That's about 500 to 600 points. That will take them back up. That is if age has knocked them out. When you talk to me about, oh, I have somebody that want to come, how old are they? Oh, 45. I say, I don't know what program to bring them in. I don't know what program to bring them in. But when they are below 40, they are there, and they are educated. Because in the pool that we are talking about, the same profession you did, there are people with PhD, you understand? So that alone, for PhD, that is 125 points. For master's, is 100 points. And for first degree, 75 points. So if you are first degree and you don't have age on your side, you understand what we are trying to talk about now. So I normally just want to encourage people If the age is, for people that are below that 18, why don't you just boost yourself up in Nigeria? We can't ask you to come to Canada now for school. It's expensive. So many of our students are not in school because of school fees. I'm sure you know that. So why don't you just go and start your master's in Nigeria? Why don't you just continue? And before you know it, we don't know what God will do, but they don't want to hear that. Even in my family, oh, we just want to come to Canada. We just want to go to UK. Why don't you just continue developing yourself by the side? But if the age is on their side, there are so many programs federally and by province that they can apply for.
Thank you. Another question. I think you already answered that question, that even if they are over 45 and they have a sponsor, I'm sure it's not enough from what you are just saying. They need to, upgrade their educational background.
Yeah.
How can a person on visitor's visa regularize their status? Somebody is also asking this.
Some visitors are lucky. They get people that will employ them. If you get an employer job offer, you get a work permit.
Okay. Yeah, because I think, what about the flag polling thing is not...
No, that's cancelled. That's been taken off since last year when we have a migration crisis in Canada. You can't go there again.
Thank you. Another question, will you advise someone to do a trade skill course, in Africa? And what's the certainty that certificate will be recognized by West to get its equivalence in Canada?
Oh, it will be recognized by West if you go to a recognized school. And I'm sure that even West, I think there's a particular university in Nigeria, they don't want certificate from that university. And that's the University of Port Harcourt. You can't. West, they will not access it. They don't trust that school at all, that particular university in Nigeria. So if you are going for trade in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, make sure you are going to a recognized college that West will accept certificate and transcript from, not University of Port Harcourt.
And then the last question I have here, I don't know if the co-host, I don't know if they still have any more questions in their chat box. Can you please shed more light on investing in a certain amount in rural area, and what kind of business?
Rural area in business stream, as I said, it's a bit lower than the city. You understand? What kind of business is that? If you have your own concept of, oh, and if I take this concept, if I take it to Canada or Manitoba, anywhere, I'm sure it's going to sell. Then you can sell it out to the province. What you do, expository visit. You can organize an expository visit. We can organize it for you. Talk to the province. They do it once in a month. You will just pay, I think, $100. As at the time I brought somebody in last for expository visit, also just wonder if I paid on behalf of that person, because I don't want them to think, oh, money. No. Just pay. Say, well, yes. I said, don't worry about it. I've paid. And we visited, we went for the meeting. The government of Manitoba, their representative, they did the meeting for us. They told us all the businesses that they want to sell. If you don't have any concept to sell, you can now come in for that visit and listen to the government of Manitoba on what businesses they have to sell. The other thing you can do is you can go online and look for businesses for sale in Manitoba. That person can start checking. For example, when my husband told me about going another business, I told him, franchise, where do we get? He said, have you even seen the business? So I went online. I just put in Google, franchise businesses for sale in Manitoba. I was surprised. I saw a list. I said, what? He said, yes, they are there. And that is how I ran into Just Like Family Manitoba. They were just about coming to Manitoba a month after to sell Just Like Family. So I contacted them ahead. They were in British Columbia then. Now the head office is in Toronto. And I showed my interest. I did the application. I did everything. Before they even came, I've done, it remained for me to just sign for them to transfer the business to me. So there are businesses to sell. So just that person can look it up and see what will interest them in it. And some of them, they could be very reasonable.
Thank you so much.
I have a question here too. GCSM note after refusal of visa and ATIP. Someone is asking that question.
Oh, it's the same thing. If you want to do it, it's the GSM note. If we want to apply as consultant or immigration lawyer, it's ATIP.
All right. Thank you.
Do you have any more questions? Anyone in the chat box? Well, thank you so much, Mrs. Kenya Adewale. I don't think we have any more questions for now. I must tell you that the session has provided an in-depth overview of various immigration opportunities across Canadian provinces. And I can tell you for a fact, and I'm sure I'm speaking the mind of every participant here, that it was indeed a trailer load of information. And in case you were not able to capture all the details during the session, don't worry. Mrs. Adewale has promised to share the slides with the CEO. And I think because of our time, we'll be bringing the program to a close.